Earth Day is a worldwide event that takes place every April, meant to celebrate the environmental diversity of the Earth and highlight ways that we can try and protect it. Every Earth Day, if you didn't know, has a specific theme. This year's it's Invest in Our Planet. That theme is meant to talk about what we can do to make Earth a little bit cleaner and how we can spend our money on companies that take conservation more seriously than others. So, my co-anchor Lindsay Shively is out at Ripple Glass this morning, live for us for Earth Day. We have lots of stories today highlighting what Earth Day is all about. I'm wondering how loud it is there where you are. I'm guessing there's no smashing and crashing going on just yet.
They don't have the big construction equipment taking the bottles back and forth and putting them in the silo just yet. The train is done passing by, so we have a brief quiet moment before Ripple Glass gets up and going this morning. Taylor, you and I talk a lot about recycling and how it's worth taking a little bit of effort to make sure what you are trying to recycle gets recycled. What can go in your curbside bin and what can't. So let's take a look at some of that, some basic items. Let's talk about the rules for Kansas City, Missouri right now. You can recycle in that curbside bin paper products like junk mail and newspapers, also cardboard, broken down boxes, plastic bottles and containers are accepted. You can also recycle aluminum and metal cans. An important note for all of these items, though, you have to remove any food scraps. You have to rinse those containers. And if you're thinking you can't rinse a pizza box, that's because you can't recycle a greasy pizza box. It's contaminated that way. Here's some of what you cannot recycle curbside in your bin in KCMO. A big one not accepted, glass. You can take it to a separate recycling facility. We're going to talk about where we are again, Ripple Glass and others in just a moment. Plastic bags, not accepted. They can really get caught in those machines where they sort the recycling, cause a big problem. But several stores do take them, like Walmart, Lowe's, Hy-Vee, Target, styrofoam, clothing, electronics, and yard waste. Those also cannot go in your curbside recycling bin. Here, let me get all my stuff here. So, we're talking about glass. A little deeper into those things that can't go into your curbside bin. A lot of households use these, wine bottles, pickle jars, name it. You think about all the glass that you have in your house from food containers, and what can you do with them? This is one of those places where they could end up. This is Ripple Glass, where they have thousands, tens of thousands of tons of every year of glass that they go through and process. And you've seen those big purple dumpsters all over town. This is where those dumpsters end up, from your kitchen to the dumpster to here. And if it ends up at Ripple, you actually already can know where it's going to end up.
Glass often breaks, and when it breaks, it can get into smaller and smaller pieces till it's basically a fine dust. And that contaminates not so much the containers like cans and plastic, but it really contaminates paper.
Okay, so that was Matt Riggs from Mid-America Regional Council telling us why glass often is not accepted in your curbside bin from so many places, because it can contaminate the rest of things you're trying to recycle. So we have a behind-the-scenes look of how that glass that you might take to Ripple Glass ends up in being in something else new entirely. Take a look. Usually this sound might be the sign of something wrong. Not here.
You know, there's also something satisfying about hearing broken glass.
At Ripple Glass, it's the sound of something used finding new life.
Wine bottles, beer bottles, champagne, pickle jars.
And lots of them. 50,000 tons per year from the KC area and 9 states. Okay, this glass right here, this could be back on the shelf as a new beer bottle in about 30 days. And maybe this could be insulation in about a week. Like this insulation. But first, back to Ripple.
If a bottle enters from here, it can come out and be in the silo in about 13 minutes.
I got a tour of what happens in those 13 minutes, from sifting by hand to a machine with cameras that sorts the glass in a fraction of a second. So from beer bottle or wine bottle to this. And this goes on to KCK. To Owens Corning, melted first from the furnace to fibers.
Recycled glass is easier to melt, so it requires less energy on our part It extends the life of our furnaces, and it also increases their capacity.
To make insulation that could end up in your walls.
One piece of insulation that's about 8 feet long and about 15 inches wide, that's about 6 beer bottles.
Maybe just days after you were drinking from that bottle.
Isn't that amazing? Just incredible that this can turn into a new beer bottle or insulation that you can go buy at Lowe's or Home Depot, and that's made just here in KCK. So this was actually founded by the owner of Boulevard Beer Company because they were trying to figure out a way that all of those beer bottles they're making could go, and they no longer own Ripple Glass. There's another part of this that is really full circle. You saw the insulation. Something else that they use all this broken glass for is this company called Ardagh. They send that ground glass to them, and they create new things like beer bottles. It's incredible. If you're thinking, I really want to do that, if you've thought about trying to recycle your glass, why not start today? Taylor, well, first let me start the process here for us. See how good that feels? You're right. It does feel good when you dump your household glass container into the dumpster. You hear it all break. This just go for it.
Absolutely. I have one of those big purple dumpsters about a mile away from my house, and I'm always the one saying, hey, I'll take the glass today. I'm happy to do that. I'm just chunking it in there whenever I go. If you are interested in doing that, there's so more. We've got the map up. I know, Lindsay, you can't see it. We've got the map up here of where you can go and do this, where the dumpsters are. There's like 70 spots here on this map. It is really pretty easy, should be, for you to find a place for you to take your glass recycling. Look for those big purple bins that say Ripple Glass on them. We're talking full-size dumpsters. It's free, open to the public. You can go, drop off your glass, and head out. We'll check back in with Lindsay in just a few minutes to talk about more ways you can help the Earth on this Earth Day.